Trump and the GOP are officially going after one of the most corrupt, disgusting parts of the Democratic Party, and it's these activist judges. You're hearing it here first, everybody. Republicans have just filed for the new bill, the Judicial Accountability Act, to start imprisoning judges who keep releasing violent repeat offenders. This is what we voted for, everybody. There is a full-on attack against activist judges, soft on crime policy judges that is destroying this country from within. This is what we voted for. If you love this, hit that thumbs up like button, guys, because this is about to move forward. Trump and the GOP are going full ham 100% on this new bill, the Judicial Accountability Act. We are ready to start seeing judges that have let repeat offenders 20 times, 30 times, 50 times, 70 times let go of these harder criminals, put in jail. They're all Democratic, guys. This is what we voted for. It is happening. And our boy FBI Director Kash Patel has just delivered a nightmare for Letitia James, James Comey. He says that action is coming in the next few days. He said, stay tuned. You'll see responses. We have numerous options to proceed, and we are executing on all of them. This is what we voted for, everybody. He said thousands of docs on the Clinton-funded Steele dossier hoax, Crossfire hurricane spy-op, Durham's classified annex, proving the FBI knew that it was BS from day one, is getting dragged into the sunlight via trials, congressional dumps, full declassification. This is Kash Patel in a new interview dropping the bombs about what's to come, guys. This is what we want. And a lot of people are saying, why would he say it out loud before? Because you have whistleblowers that are already coming in that are trying to save their skin to put these other people in jail. And we are reporting on it all, baby. We also have it where, again, you think this is over? Senator Mark Kelly has come out again, who's already under investigation for sedition, now accusing Trump and Hegseth of war crimes, and says he'd refuse Trump's orders. This is open incitement of military disobedience from a sitting senator. Guys, they're wanting, I'm not joking, I feel like they're trying to make themselves look like Trump. Trump got jailed, took the mugshot and everything. I think that's what these Democrats are trying to do. They're trying to say enough to be a martyr for the Democratic Party to try to rile them up to come up against Trump by saying all these seditious things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We also have it where the Senate, guys, oh my goodness, we've been waiting on this for so long. The Senate is moving, excuse me, this week to impeach rogue Judge James Boasberg, the same judge who went after Trump for trying to deport the Tren de Aragua gang, the same judge who has just 100% tried to put a stop to all of Trump's executive orders. Boasberg has refused to testify before the Senate. The Judiciary Committee will hold a hearing holding rogue judges accountable. This is tied to, in fact, with the Judicial Accountability Act that they have just filed as a new bill. Guys, this is what we voted for. Whether it's Comey, Letitia James, Mark Kelly, Boasberg, these activist judges, this is the enemy within. We start draining the swamp big time when these people start going to jail, and that's what this new bill is for, to start imprisoning judges who keep releasing violent repeat offenders. And you think that that's it, guys? I'm telling you, the news is dropping today. 21 states plus DC have sued the Trump admin over changes to the SNAP benefits for excluding non-citizens. I'm telling you, everybody, we are fighting the fight big time right now. Got a ton of breaking news for you today. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not a part of the family yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. Thank you to everybody that partners with us in our giving on the 22nd of every single month, especially. we're about to hit this Christmas month. We're going to be giving to the kids, guys. And we're going to be our biggest donation out of the entire year. I am so excited. It is going to be massive. I love it. Want to say thank you to all those that give. Doris Jean Hall, show Doris some love in the chat. Our boy Richard with the 5 gifted True Life News memberships. Digging it with Dawn. Excuse me, super chat from Richard. And the real KRO renewing their membership. Show them some love in the chat. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting the thumbs up like button. Big news for you today. And don't forget, guys, the door is about to close. Open enrollment for Medicare is almost done. This is a huge blessing to so many people. We literally had somebody on this channel that gave a super chat, and they said they saved $1,560 just by giving Chapter a call in their Medicare health insurance. We've had people save $2,700 a year, $2,000 a year. Don't miss your chance to be blessed. Call them up. I promise you're going to be taken care of, and it's a free service. The number is 667-895-3015. We even got people who have received over $1,000 in additional benefits. So call them up, be blessed. The number is at the bottom of the screen and in the description, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Listen to this.
It's not just the Department of Homeland Security also announcing that it is, quote, we are reviewing all asylum cases approved under the Biden administration, which failed to properly screen large-scale asylum applications. The president.
Let me tell you this, everybody. Every single time we catch them in the act, we bring the evidence. Every time these asylum seekers, they break the law, look what they have been classified as in the system. This guy who is an Afghan, who literally built bombs to blow up Fort Worth, Texas, was classified as white. Now you tell me this, guys, when we're trying to figure out data and trying to make sure that we pinpoint people, why in the world do they always change the race? Because they're trying to pin it that white people are the ones who commit the most crimes when this showing you right in front of your face. Not only that, you want to know how hard it's getting for them? Look at this right here. 21 states sued Trump admin over the changes to immigrant SNAP eligibility. When you take away their money, when you take away their slush funds, that's when you expose them at the highest level. And you would think, guys, I'm telling you, the entire media is turning on the Democrats so hard. Listen to this. You won't believe it, everybody. But this is right here of what they're going now after Tim Walz for all this fraud going to terrorists.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But
do you see this? Guys, I'm telling you, they're calling them out across the board. This is the stuff that we've been waiting for a long time to finally hold them accountable. If you love this, hit the thumbs up like button, guys. This is a win for everybody. Because I'm telling you, these Democrats, the more we dig in, the more fraud we're finding. Let me tell you this, everybody. This is all not happening by chance. In the left-wing media outlet, this is probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard this woman say on national television. This is one of the worst things ever, guys. I am so mind blown with what you're about to hear because she puts words into the woman that died, that got shot, the National Guard's woman that got shot. She puts words into her mouth that now are just streaming and blowing up X. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is how this dang Democrats are always trying to control and put a negative narrative on the dumbest scenarios ever. Listen to this.
In Trump's America, this is exactly what he wants. And the idea that one person can get out of line and commit such a horrific crime as shooting two National Guardsmen that never, ever asked to be here. In fact, when
never asked to be there, they volunteered, okay? They volunteered. That's a fact check. Go fact check me. She lied right there.
You know, the young lady that lost her life, specifically, we're saying that this is a waste of time. But
she just said that the lady who lost her life, the National Guards woman that got shot, said that this was a waste of time. She literally volunteered. This is the scum, guys, that I'm showing you. And I don't use these words often. But when you put words into people that have lost their lives' mouth, where they can't say anything, you know the family's not going to say anything. This is the worst of the worst when it comes to politics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not even going to play the rest of it because I'm so disgusted at what's happening. But this is why, again, we're taking action with the new bill to hold activist judges accountable for them just completely fighting against Trump's policies to put America first. Listen to this.
Jack Posobiec, Color Revolution. Sir.
Well, Steve, you might call this the Green Revolution, I suppose, because what it is, President Trump has exposed this by announcing a moratorium on all third world migration. And in fact, the New York Times has a story out that the State Department, I don't know if this is Rubio or what, ordered to destroy any visa that's even in process right now for Afghanistan.
Let's go.
Which I couldn't even applaud more. We know that this entire area has been unvetted, and President Trump went out and said very clearly they are non-compatible with Western civilization. What we laid out in my book on humans last year is that is the specific reason that they are being imported to the United States and across Western civilization, because the people behind this know that they are disruptive, know that they are non-compatible with Western civilization. That is the entire point. That is the entire agenda. That is the entire plan. You build, they call it the coalition of the fringes. You build your coalition of these fringe groups, you import them to the United States. This is how all far leftist politics works. And then you increase the size of those groups so that you can diminish the power of who? The middle class, the kulaks, the people who are in the middle. Squeeze them out. So you raise the amount of the lower class, and then you get the upper class in, and what do? Boom, you squeeze out the middle. That's how Mondami won, and I exposed him in the White House for saying exactly that. The one time when he let the mask slip, Kev, you remember that? He said he wants to do it. He said straight up, the richer, whiter neighborhoods are his target. This is the green color revolution that is going on right now, Steve. And they will do it to Florida. They're doing, Alex Jones just had the great, you call it the soliloquy, I suppose, on Friday there, or excuse me, Wednesday there, talking about how they're doing it all across Texas. And he says, Texans, why are you just sitting around watching football? You need to wake up to what's happening to your state. This is mass invasion. You are being invaded and you're asleep.
Jack Posobiec.
Let me tell you this, everybody, and this is, again, who allowed it? We go back to the source. We go back to where it always ends up right now, and it's against these activist judges. But now we know, breaking news from Fox News and the New York Post, the Republicans have just filed the Judicial Accountability Act. The Judicial Accountability Act will start to imprison these judges who keep releasing violent repeat offenders, everybody. This is the number one thing that we are going to fight with to make sure that we hold these people accountable, because remember, we show you the charts, everybody, from CIS.org. Look at the number to the far left, the number in purple. It's 59%. That is illegal headed households. 59% of them receive some form of welfare when it comes to cash, food, Medicaid, or housing, okay? Even the guy that shot the 2 guardsmen was receiving $2,000 a month in housing assistance. This is a drain on our economy, okay? This is what is hurting America, where you've got the people that are not even citizens who are 100% more dependent upon the federal government than natural citizens, and that's where you get, look at this, natural citizens, only 39% are receiving some form of welfare, but when it comes to an immigrant or illegal, they are overwhelmingly the majority. We bring you the facts, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm sick and tired of this. This is the truth of what's going on. Chip Trap, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go, brother. Said, hi, Joel. Just want to give a shout out and give my love to the True Life News family. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I've had a difficult time catching live broadcasts. We miss you, brother. Show Chip Trap some love in the chat. OG of the channel, as well as Aha, member of the channel, said, media offenders, the White House, search that. I explore the media bias tracker, the fact checks, and holds fake news accountable. Let's go. Show Aha some love in the chat, as well as Sean Green, 2010, for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Show Sean Green some love in the chat. If you got a free membership from him, thank you so much, brother, for your support. This right here, again, is all the facts that Democrats can't deny, but this is how they buy voters, everybody. That they give them all this assistance, and they overwhelmingly vote Democrat. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Thoughts on the color revolution? Action steps of the Posobiec brothers to shut this frickin' thing down, because it's starting to overwhelm us, and people are not taking decisive action to get to the heart of it and start to break this unholy alliance inside the government that taxpayers are paying for, sir.
Steve, it's very clear, by the way, and I can explain. I had Dan Caldwell on Human Events the other day. We explained this and walked it through. People will say it's just a military-industrial complex. That's part of it. People say it's just, it's just this, it's just that. It's all part of it, the money side, the material side. But here's what it really is. Here's what it really is. This is a pagan religion. You're looking at another pagan religion. And the Bible of the Beltway is liberal hegemony. The Bible of the Beltway is the American empire. As Darren Beatty called it, the globalist American empire. They truly believe that liberal hegemony and the two sides of the coin are neoconservatism and neoliberalism. So if you oppose liberal hegemony, this idea that the United States needs to be a world empire all around the globe, getting involved in all these things, Ukraine to Afghanistan, Venezuela, whatever else it is, if you oppose that, you will get a theocratic response. They will respond as if you are some kind of heretic. They will say, invade the world, invite the world, because they view themselves as the progenitors of the new globalist empire, where we will expand liberalism around the world, and we'll invite in these subjects of empire to be our wards of the state, to be our charges. That's what the plan is, Steve. That's what's going on, and that's what they actually believe in D.C., because they're not connected to real America.
Brilliant. By the way, there's not a better book you can get than Unhumans. It's amazing.
Let me tell you this, everybody. They were finally coming after them big time with what you're about to hear next. Right now, James Comey's trial has been dismissed. Letitia James has been dismissed. I'm glad that Kash Patel is on it. This is a brand new interview that's come out. They're coming after him, everybody. We need justice. No more of this two-tier justice system. Listen to this.
Because it's pending in terms of appellate status and what we are going to do for the next steps, the judicial process can make whatever determination it wants, but we, the FBI, and our partners at the DOJ have numerous options to proceed, and we're executing on all those options. So we're not done.
Any detail available?
I would say stay tuned for right after Thanksgiving, and you'll see multiple responses, in my opinion.
So you've initiated some cultural changes at the FBI. That's something that many people have talked about. Some people like it, some people don't. What would you say is the most...
Let me tell you this, guys. This is America first. Everything that they're saying, all the stuff that they're catching now, this stuff you cannot make up. You excuse me. You have to be able to go after everybody. And right now, this is one of the biggest ones right now, is that Judge Boasberg, this week, they're going to be moving to impeach this guy. And we've been waiting a long time for this because, again, it's all about the judges that have been blocking Trump through their temporary restraining orders this entire presidency. The first presidency was against the Democrats, and now they don't have a leg to stand on. Now it's the judges, but listen to this, because we're finally holding them accountable.
Boasberg and Deborah Boardman both turning down requests to testify at a Senate hearing this week entitled impeachment, holding rogue judges accountable. Boasberg, whose series of judgments regarding the Trump administration have ignited a legal firestorm, including his decision to restrict the White House's use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans. There have also been questions about his apparent role in Arctic frost, that FBI investigation that allegedly tracked the private communications and phone calls of nearly a dozen Republican lawmakers. As for Boardman, well, no stranger to controversy after ruling against the administration's effort to restrict birthright citizenship. So the question is, where do things go from here? And we want to discuss all that with another great legal eagle, Boasberg and Deborah.
I'm telling you, everybody, we're going after all of them. And what I love, too, is that across the board, there's no defense for what's happening. Everything that's being revealed, I love it. Our boy Scott Jennings is literally laying them out on CNN. This is what we voted for, guys. We are getting our voice out, and the reason they're showing Scott Jennings so much is because people agree with him.
Where soldiers are possibly lost, it is pretty inexcusable that he has not been briefed and he can't speak to it.
And what's worse, a president not having all the information he needs to make a legitimate comment, so he holds back in the moment before being ready to make a comment, or, I don't know, willfully lying to the American people about the condition of the President of the United States, which went on for 4 years in this country by all of your colleagues.
Totally wrong. That is totally wrong. That is totally wrong.
I hope you read all the books that are coming out. I hope you read all the books that are coming out.
Joe Biden, when asked about soldiers lost, was briefed and said it. And so you think Joe Biden had problems? At least he was able to do that. What's the excuse for Donald Trump if he's so capable?
I'm just saying.
I mean,
you guys
I don't
are
know if you're a
upset
judge.
that
If
Trump
you're a judge,
is exhibiting some, I want to get more facts, and I'm going to be lectured by the people who lied to the American people about the condition of the president.
Oh my God!
No way.
No, but
not going to take
that's first of all, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. Yes, it is.
You think the truth was told? You think the truth was told?
I will say.
Did the White House tell the truth?
I will look forward to this discussion.
Do you all believe the truth was told about Biden?
Scott, do you want government or do you want your lick back? Because even if all of that happened in the past, we're in the present now.
Ooh.
So we need a president that is capable.
And so what he said.
You see how they try to dismiss what Biden did? Wasn't in charge, didn't have any thought of what was going on. Guys, I'm telling you this. The next big steps that are about to be taken, especially by Tom Homan. I love this guy. Such a true patriot over cleaning up America right now. They have literally taken it up to the next level because of what happened in D.C., and you're ready now. You're about to hear their next biggest steps that they are going to 100% increase, hire more, do more to make America safe. This is what we voted for.
Message right now to the service men and women of this country, the law enforcement officers that you work with as well, and their families as they continue to try to do their jobs to keep the country safe, but at such a great risk.
Well, first of all, prayers to the guardsmen, the one fallen, the one fighting for his life every day. And the nation needs to wrap their arms around these men and women who chose, who volunteered to put themselves in harm's way to make this country safe again. Every ICE agent, Border Patrol agent, guardsmen, they weren't drafted. They agreed. They stepped up to make this country safe again and put a gun on their hip, and they wear a Kevlar vest every day to make this country safe again under the greatest president in my lifetime, Donald Trump. So hats off to them. I don't care what political party you're from, left, right, middle, independent, doesn't matter. Every one of these people are American patriots by the fact they put themselves in harm's way to protect people they'll never meet and protecting people they don't know. They're doing God's work out there every day.
And I want to read some words from Sarah's father, Gary Beckstrom. He posted this to Facebook on Thursday. My baby girl has passed to glory. If I don't talk to you, don't be offended. This has been a horrible tragedy, and there are no words to describe what has happened. You've been fighting the fight of an open border. You have shut that border down. There's also this aspect of botched foreign policy from the Biden administration. How do we move forward as a nation to make sure we can keep our country safe?
Well, first of all, I want people to know that throughout my career, I buried Border Patrol agents, I buried ICE agents, the worst job in the world, to hand that folded flag to a surviving family member, and we've done it too many times. President Trump has saved America. Let's be clear. When he came in office, he gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Never been more secure. So now we know who's coming. Now we clear who's coming. We don't have 10,000 up to 12,000 people a day enter this country illegally. We had 10.5 million illegal aliens come to the border under Joe Biden. And that's not counting the hundreds of thousands that came through the CHMB program, the CBP-1 app. It's not counting the over 2 million known gotaways. Now, at least these Afghanistans, the other people came in through a pro program. At least we have a photograph. We have some fingerprints. We'll never get the records to actually know who they are because many of these countries like Afghanistan don't have databases like we have. So it's hard to vet anybody. But the 2 million known gotaways, we don't even know who the hell they are, where they came from, why they're here. Biggest national security failure in the history of this nation under Joe Biden. And thank God President Trump's in the Oval Office because he's cleaning it up. Most secure border in the nation's history. He kept that promise to American people. We have a historic deportation operation going on. He saved America there, and he's going to continue to save America. We're just getting started with that. And look what he's done for the military. As far as the narcotics who killed over 2.5 million people over the last few decades, President Trump has now taken the war against drugs to the away game. He's taken them at their home game, taken them back to the waters, because we knew once we secured the border, less drugs come across to kill Americans. We knew they'd take the maritime. And what's President Trump doing? He's wiping them out in maritime, saving thousands of lives every month by doing so.
And I want to show you guys, facts matter. Go look at this up. This is from Cis.org. Look how that chart is rising. Trump repost Geiger Capital saying the foreign-born share of U.S. population is now higher than any other point in U.S. history. 1 in 6 people. Higher than the great wave of immigration in the early 20th century. This is what's happening right now, and this was all intentional. We showed you that it's intentional that every time there's so many people that are immigrants that commit crimes, they label them as white. What does this do? It makes it look like the white population is more violent than it is. There's an attack on the white people. Then you've got it where the 21 states sue Trump admin over changes to immigrant SNAP eligibility. You cannot make this stuff up, everybody. This is why it's so important, and I'm telling you, that we work together to help each other out in every single facet possible. We've shown you that the DOJ has filed false claims complaint against 3 national health insurance companies, 3 brokers for discriminating against Americans. We know that there was $200 billion given in federal tax benefits to migrants over the past couple of years under the Biden administration. We know this is all facts, guys. 2026 Medicare. This is so important to me because I love to show you things, not just tell you things. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services estimate there's about 5,600 Medicare Advantage plans available nationwide in 2026. That's why we partnered with this company called Chapter. It is a free service. And when you call them up, they will help you out with your Medicare. Right now, it's open enrollment time, but the door's about to be shut in just a couple of days, guys. So this is why I want you to get in there, call them up. 667-895-3015. Be blessed because we have too many people that are not being taken care of when it comes to healthcare costs. We literally had somebody on this channel that gave a super chat yesterday. She is now saving $1,560 a year in healthcare costs just by calling Chapter. So don't waste time. Like I said, open enrollment's about done. The number is 667-895-3015. Call them and you'll be blessed. We've literally had people save almost $3,000 a year on this with Chapter's help. And it's all free. We've had people get additional $1,000 benefits and stipends to help out with just regular daily cost. And I love hearing these testimonials. I love seeing people blessed. This is how we serve you, by bringing value to you and what we offer. And there's so much corruption out there. There's so much fraud. Don't give these companies more money than they deserve. And this is, again, a free service. Number 667-895-3015. I promise you'll be blessed. Lynn Defoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Excuse me. OG of the channel said, Joel, see, I have popped up again. Like I said, I'm like a bad weed. I pop up when you're not looking. I might not say much, but I'm always here. Lynn, you're a true OG. Said, love my TrueLife News family. Great job, Joel. Thank you so much. Show Lynn some love in the chat, as well as Sean Green, and our boy Richard, PDX67, for their support in helping us grow our family. I love it. Let's go on.
Tom, we all remember those chaotic pictures of Afghans clinging to planes as President Biden conducted his withdrawal operation. Many of these folks, anywhere from 80 to 100,000, came to this country under this program, Operation Allies Welcome. The problem, however, it was done so chaotically, so quickly. The vetting process was riddled with inaccuracy. They were, failed to monitor the refugees that came into the country and where they went after what they did. Data inaccuracies, glitches that made it difficult for immigration to do its job. I want to talk a little bit about the consequences of that as we're seeing them play out in real time. And, we lost 13 service members as well in that operation.
People need to understand, during the 4 years to Biden, I was on Fox News every day saying it's the biggest national security failure in the history of the nation, and we're going to pay the price. Because even though Secretary Mayorkas says everybody's property vetted, they weren't. Even his own DHS Inspector General came out with a report and said there's multiple failures in the vetting process. And here's what people need to understand. In these third world nations, they don't have systems like we do. So a lot of these Afghanistans, when they did get here and get vetted, they had no identification at all. Not a single travel document, not one piece of identification. And we're going to count on the people that run Afghanistan, the Taliban, to provide us any information who the bad guys were or who the good guys are? Certainly not. And many people need to understand that most terrorists in this world, most of them, aren't in any database. Because unless they were found on a battlefield by DOD and did a retina scan and did biometrics there, unless you're part of a T3 undercover investigation, we don't know who they are.
Wow.
So, and the same thing with illegal aliens. That over 10 million that came across the border with Joe Biden. There's no way to vet these people. You think El Salvador or Turkey or Sudan or any of these countries have the databases or system checks that we have? Do you think the government of China, Russia, Turkey, you think they're going to share that data with us even if they did have it? There is no way to clearly vet these people, 100% that they're safe to come in this country from these third world nations. President Trump's doing the right thing, reviewing every one of these people who came under the Biden administration and drilling down on them. I really, truly think that most of them are going to end up being deported because we're not
going to accept it anymore, everybody. It's so heartbreaking. Some of this stuff that's coming out, Trump is furious. This is what he posted earlier, said crooked Joe Biden, Mayorkas, and the so-called border czar Kamala Harris really screwed our country by letting anyone and everyone come in totally unchecked and unvetted. And that's why I'm so thankful, everybody, that we get to report on this channel that there is a new bill coming out that is, excuse me, it's going to go after these rogue activist judges. It's going to make sure that we hold them accountable. It's going to make sure that 100%, whatever they're trying to do to hurt the United States in any form or fashion, we're going after them. The Republicans just filed the Judicial Accountability Act to start imprisoning judges who keep releasing violent repeat offenders across the board. We're going after them. This is reported by Fox News and the New York Post, everybody. And everybody's on it. And even though we know that she's pretty much out the door, everybody, listen to this because stuff is happening.
Shannon, good to see you.
Okay, so let's start with this question about vetting. The Washington Post reporting this. Counterterrorism officials did vet the guard shooting suspect before he entered the U.S. One of the individuals they talked to said the suspect was vetted years ago before working with the CIA in Afghanistan and then again before he arrived in the U.S. in 2021. Those examinations involved both the National Counterterrorism Center as well as the CIA. So where are we in tracking the path of this suspect? Was something missed in the vettings, or was he possibly radicalized once he got here?
So first, the one that you talked about that happened days before the Thanksgiving shooting, That one, he had been here through Operation Allies Welcome Program, minimal to little vetting. I was on the phone last night with Secretary Kristi Noem at length. They did not do biometrics. They did not do social media. They did very little, if minimal, vetting on all of these people. And now to take a step back, we have a 1.5 million backlog of people that have come into our country. And as you said, these people are being radicalized. We know that this shooter who shot our National Guardsmen in D.C. the day before Thanksgiving, he was radicalized. You're going to hear a lot more about that. And these people should not have been in our country, should have never been in our country under Joe Biden. He opened our borders, of course, MS-13 TDA members. Right 20 minutes from where you are right now, Shannon, we caught one of the worst MS-13 members in the country, of the whole Eastern Seaboard, top members, because Joe Biden let him walk into our country. Also, he commuted people off death row. I've moved them to Supermax, where they will spend the rest of their lives. They were the worst of the worst. He commuted someone completely, let them out of prison, a violent criminal, and he recently committed an attempted murder in Nebraska. No longer. We're catching these people, we're vetting these people, and this administration, because of Donald Trump, we are working hand in hand with Secretary Noem, Homeland Security. Director Patel has already arrested 500 suspected terrorists since January 20th. We're working hand in hand with Pete Hegseth. And yes, we are bringing in our National Guard to every city we possibly can. Who needs our help? And that's a lot of them. We're tied up, as you know, in a lot of court hearings right now. These young men and women in the Guard, they want to help our country. They want to be here. They are patriots, yet they will not be attacked by a radical Islamic terrorist who screams by reports, Ali Akbar, before shooting 2 of our Guard members and almost killing more.
Yeah, can you confirm that? Because I have heard that in at least one report that there was that exclamation. We've not confirmed that beyond the one report, but also you said we're going to hear more about terror connections in the background of this individual. When will we know more about those things? Can you confirm that? And will there be more charges?
So it has been reported, that's why I said it that way, yes, that he did yell Ali Akbar before shooting at them. The fact that he was radicalized in this country, we are letting Secretary Noem handle that from Homeland Security. She is working on that. They have reports of that. This guy drove across the country, as we all know, from Washington State to execute our National Guard members. And, you know, I've been on the phone with Melody and Jason. Those are Andy Wolf's parents. These are wonderful people. They were at his bedside last night. They are at his bedside right now. They spent Thanksgiving at Andy's bedside. And Shannon, I just have to say this, we are a praying country, and we all have to pray for Andy's full recovery right now. He is a remarkable young man. He joined the Guard in 2019. His dad's a career police officer. He fought to keep our country safe, and now we have to pray to fight to get him back to 100% and do everything we can to support his family. I'm going to see his parents tonight. Wonderful people. And, you know, we lost Sarah. We lost Sarah to a terrorist attack in our country. That should not be happening in the United States of America. That's why Donald Trump closed our borders. That's why Donald Trump has cut off all of these people from coming into our country. We are going to protect Americans.
Let me tell you this, everybody. You want the stuff that's coming out on the left? If you appreciate what we're doing, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this right here, you cannot make up. Like, I'm ready to see people arrested so bad. When you hear what they're saying on the left, now they're outright accusing Trump and Hegseth of war crimes, outright saying that if they were active military, they would be defying Trump's orders. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments, because this right here, if this isn't breaking the law in some form or fashion, and they don't do anything to this guy, we are officially screwed as a country. Because that means that anybody can come in and seditiously provoke the commander-in-chief, no matter who's in charge, to disrupt our country. Listen to this.
We'll have public hearings. We'll put people under oath. We need to get to the bottom of this. Hey, the U.S. military is, the most powerful and effective, military in the world. And we've got to be, precise, and we have to be operating in accordance with U.S. law and international law, always.
Based on what CNN is reporting, what the Washington Post is reporting, do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over. We are not Russia. We're not Iraq. We hold ourselves to a very high standard of professionalism. And this is where I'm really troubled about this, is because I have so much respect for people in the United States Navy. I served in the Navy for 25 years.
Let me tell you, everybody, we are fighting again. It's the enemy from within. This right here, you cannot make up. It's literally happening right before our eyes. Mark Kelly saying he'd ignore orders. And again, I'm going to show you what's happening next, because Alina Habba, she's on it now with Trump. Again, and the DOJ going after these people for what they are saying. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much, Gina, for the gifted 10 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership from Gina, show her some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Gina, for your kindness and support. True OG of the family. Give Gina some love in the chat if you got a free membership, as well as our boy, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, true OG of the channel, said taking America back is our rights. Vetting the illegals' legal element has to be done. Too much waste, fraud, and abuse is happening. We're going into debt more and more. Amen. And I got something else to show you, because they found $11 billion in fraud at the Pentagon. So much is going on, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give it up for Mr. Tracy J. Norby and Gina. Thank y'all so much for your support. We truly are thankful for you all. But this right here, I'm telling you, we're finally going to go after these people. Alina Habba's on it, and you know she's a pit bull. Listen to this.
This morning. Thank you for being here. We would hope that we're talking about different things, but unfortunately we're not. We heard from Jeanine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. We also heard from Attorney General Pam Bondi saying she's urging prosecutors to seek the death penalty here. Many people are wondering what justice in a case like this will look like.
It will be swift and heavy, and I can tell you that the U.S. Attorney in D.C., Jeanine, is just tremendous. She will have no mercy, as she should not, on something like this. This is an absolute failure of the prior administration, as we know, that has allowed open borders, and we've seen time and time again protesters coming out for what? This is a crime that should not have happened. It was avoidable, and that is why this administration is so focused on, number one, getting illegals out, number two, getting people that were brought in that want to commit crime, that are not Americans, get out of our country. We don't want you here. If you don't love this country, we have no patience or time for you, and we will bring the law down when you hurt our patriots. And that is what happened here. This woman's life was taken too soon. And I know that Jeanine's just going to be tremendous. When she prosecutes this case, she will do justice by that family.
There are a lot of questions today about what we know about the suspect, what his ties were to the United States. We understand that he was working with the CIA in Afghanistan. I bring up again that image of folks clinging to airplanes as his chaotic withdrawal under President Biden was being carried out. Everybody was displaced everywhere, concerned about the Taliban coming in and the dangers that were lying ahead on the ground. But we didn't really think about the danger of bringing 80 to 100,000 people that we hadn't vetted properly into this country. And so if you were just able to say, well, I worked with the CIA and I was trying to help the Americans, you were brought over here. But we don't necessarily know that that was true.
I think what you're implying is that there was a stringent vetting process under the prior administration, and that in itself is flawed. There was no process. We were allowing open borders. We were allowing criminals to come into our country. And then there were individuals that were saying that this should be a safe harbor, a safe haven. Why? America is America because we protect our own. We don't allow this to happen. So when you say we, I want to be very clear. It is not a we. It is not the Trump administration. It was not Trump 1, and it is most certainly not Trump administration that is currently happening. It was the Biden administration that allowed this individual in, that didn't properly vet them, and now an individual who stepped in for someone on Thanksgiving so they could go home, who got sworn in the day prior, is now dead. A 20-year-old is dead. And that is why we fight so hard every day at this Department of Justice. That is why this Trump administration is completely focused on making our streets safer, so that crimes like this that had no vetting should never happen. Never happen again.
Yeah, I appreciate you making that distinction, previous administration versus what we're dealing with now. President Trump is actually just trying to do his best to clean up this entire mess and keep Americans safe. It's something that America voted for. Immigration, open borders were a top issue along with the economy. Alina, I want to switch gears and talk about the auto pen. President Trump wants...
Guys, I want to show you this real quick because, again, too, this right here, this is all found out recently in the past couple of days over the Pentagon. This is massive of the fraud, waste, and abuse. Pentagon fraud, $11 billion confirmed. The Pentagon contractor conspired with shell companies to jack up prices. On one case, $40 million. Another case, two firms lied about their ownership to win contracts they weren't eligible for, cost $200 million. Retired Admiral Robert Burke took bribes to award contracts to a company offering him a $500,000 salary and 100,000 stock options. This, again, everybody, is just time and time again why, this is all the receipts, excuse me, why we have to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out there, because we are we're not even a year into Trump's presidency, and look how much Doge is found. Look how much the DOJ has found of fraud, waste, and abuse of your taxpayer dollars. Minnesota, Somalians, terrorists, all this stuff. Like, you would think that there's an open, checkbook to the rest of the world when it comes to your taxpayer dollars, but dang it, you don't even get a choice. Your taxes are taken out without you even thinking about it every single week in your paycheck. And if you don't pay your taxes, if you're down 1,000, they're coming after your butt. But yet when we try to go after the fraud, waste, and abuse, they fight tooth and nail, and we're finally exposing them all. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Scott Sr. 2058 with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership from Scott, show him some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. I love it, growing our family. Thank you so much, Kim Goer 1 for the super chat. Said to everyone who doesn't own protection, look into Berna online. It's legal in all 50 states. If you have a strict pew laws in your state, this will give you a peace of mind for protection. Thank you so much, brother. Show Camp Goer 1, Scott Sr., our boy Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Gina, some love in the chat, everybody, because we are finally getting down to some justice on what you're about to hear next.
To take Joe Biden to task on this and his administration as well. He says the auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. The radical left lunatics circling Biden around the beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. And the president wants to void all documents that were allegedly signed by Biden's auto pen.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. The president is 100% right. I can tell you right now, as somebody who worked in the West Wing, as somebody who worked with President Trump, that man is signing everything with intent, with knowledge, and with his own ink to paper. We do not use the auto pen for executive orders. The president knows what he is doing. Now, go back to President Biden. I don't think he knew what he was doing, but I will tell you what, the people around him most certainly did, and they were not elected into office, and they did not have the right to sign documents. The auto pen issue is not a joke. The lack of intent to sign a document, but then to affect millions and millions of Americans who voted for someone but was controlled by whomever was controlling it, and we will get to the bottom of that, should be held accountable, because it is not the way our government works. President Trump goes to work every day. There are cameras there watching him. He is signing every executive order himself with intent and direction, and he does so properly. It was improper, and I do think he is absolutely right. We need to clean up the mess that he created or the people around him.
Acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey.
I'm telling you, everybody, we're dropping it today. Kristi Noem has already come out on left-wing media outlets saying what is happening right now. This is how fast the administration is moving.
Will you deport people with pending asylum claims, Madam Secretary?
We will if they should be, absolutely. Yes, we are going to go through every single person that has a pending asylum claim, has an asylum claim here in this country. You know, one of the requirements of asylum is that you have to come in every single year for a checkup and an interview process and a re-vetting. And that is something that we're going to expedite and happen immediately with anyone who does have that asylum claim today and ensure that they deserve to still be in this country, that they still have the purposes for which they claimed that asylum in place, and that they're not here being radicalized and perpetuating dangerous criminal activity against our Americans.
I love it. They're investigating everybody because so much fraud has happened, guys. Look, you know it's getting bad when the dang New York Times is calling out fraud on a leftist Democrat Minnesota governor, saying how fraud swamped Minnesota's social services system on Tim Walz's watch. Hey, did you ever think you'd be seeing this? We're seeing a lot of it, guys, and the reason is because it's drawing viewers. Nobody wants to listen to the Democrats' left-wing media outlets anymore. Nobody wants to hear their sayings because it's all non-common sense. And now we have it. Oh, man, this is so big. Where they're calling them out from the New York Times. And what you're about to hear next is, again, we're doubling down on catching the fraud, waste, and abuse within the healthcare system. This is huge.
Can be shut down again. Not a lot of time to make inroads on serious healthcare reform. But as President Trump said, if he did extend the subsidies, it would be with certain restrictions. It would be to buy some time to be able to move forward with some of the changes that Republicans want to make to the overall system. Walk me through how all of this is going to work.
Absolutely. First off, it's great to be with you, Jackie. What Republicans are looking at is how to bring down the cost of health care for all Americans, how to bring down the premiums for all Americans, and creating more access for all Americans. Unfortunately, what the Democrats have been focused on is just the Obamacare exchanges, which is just 7% of the entire population, 24 million American. And when you look at Obamacare, you can see all the fraud that's within it. Just think about this. Last year, in 24 of the 24 million people on the Obamacare exchanges, 12 million did not even have one medical claim. Are you telling me that those 12 million Americans were that healthy and never went to the doctor?
Wow.
The simple fact is they clearly didn't even know that they had health insurance. But guess what? Those insurance companies, they sure were subsidized from the federal government.
Well, let's talk about the cost of this.
Do you hear this, y'all? I'm telling you, my goodness. If this is why Trump knows, and he said, forget the healthcare companies, we want to give money directly to the American people instead of just continuing to subsidize a failed program.
Because if it goes on for another year, it would cost anywhere from 38 to 40 billion. You've got Democrats that want to make these subsidies. By the way, the subsidies implemented in 2021 after COVID and after the crisis, but under that cloak of COVID, they want to make those permanent. The 10-year cost would be anywhere from 335 billion to 383 billion, according to some of the estimates. Why would you throw good money after bad versus trying to look at how to reform the system to make it work? President Trump talking about the insurers said, don't give any money to the insurance companies, give it to the people directly.
Wow.
Let them go out by their own health care plan. We are looking at that. How much of a reality is it?
You know, we're looking at every option, but if you just look at Obamacare, it is absolutely unaffordable. Premiums have gone up 80% since Obamacare was passed. 150 different hospitals have closed since Obamacare was passed. We have to do things differently. And the answer is not a COVID-era program that was created in 21. We need to look at some real reforms, real changes. Even with it expiring at the end of the year, 93% of all the people on Obamacare will still have very generous subsidies. 7% will lose it, but that 7% are people who are above 400% of the federal poverty level. Right now, there's folks being subsidized making $600,000 a year.
Yeah, it's outrageous when you really think about it, and that there's a lot of weight.
Hey, my goodness. You just heard this guy say there's people getting subsidies that are making making over $600,000 a year. My goodness. Do you realize this is so nuts? Guys, we are dropping the bombs today. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is insane. And this is the stuff that they're saying that Democrats, what do they always say? Trump is always trying to help out the rich. Who the heck created this? The dang Democrats. Who has owned this? The dang Democrats. And look, they're helping people out that make over $600,000 a year with Obamacare subsidies. Are you kidding me? I don't believe a dang thing coming from the left. And I half believe the stuff coming from the right. But man, I'm telling you, when we start cleaning up government and we start limiting government, I could 100% see Trump paying for the federal government with tariff revenue. But we got to cut 80% of the dang government because it's just so inefficient and corrupt.
In the system as well. But, you know, we're talking about a crisis of affordability. That's what the Democrats are talking about. President Trump is talking about it too, and what he's done to tackle it. But the Democrats are using that to win elections. And this is really a hot button issue, because if all of a sudden the average person sees their premium go from roughly a little bit less than $900 a year to almost $1,600 a year because these subsidies go away, that's a problem on both sides, and both sides will have to attack it differently. You know, the Democrats will say how awful the Republicans were to take that money away from the American people. You will make the arguments that you've laid out here. The bottom line is that something's got to get done. It's got to get done in roughly 30 days.
We absolutely make sure we have to be the adult in the room. We have to have real reforms. If you look at the big, beautiful bill that passed on July 4th, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the reforms that we put in there of going after folks who are ineligible for different welfare programs and also making sure illegals aren't receiving welfare programs, we have now resulted in all Americans have lower premiums. That's according to the Congressional Budget Office, which is not always the most friendly to House Republican policies. But when you look at affordability, it's important, Jackie, for people to understand why we are where we're at today. And that's because when Joe Biden and the House Democrats, the Senate Democrats, when they had unified government, they spent more than $10 trillion that led to inflation rising more than 21%. So to put food on your table, clothes on your backs, and gasoline on your cars cost more. President Trump, in just 9 months, has reduced inflation to the lowest level in 4 years. But guess what? We need to reverse the damage that Joe Biden, House Democrats, and Senate Democrats did in bringing down the cost of affordability for everyone.
Yes, and I'm really glad that you brought up the spending under the Biden administration that spiked inflation to over 9%. That's a rough mess to be able to clean up in just a little bit less than a year, but the president has been working on it, and successfully in many areas.
I want to show you this, everybody, because this is so real. When you look at, you can go into Google, type in Medicare fraud in the USA in 2024 in total, and look at what is the total estimated improper payments across Medicaid, CHIP, all this stuff, approximately $87.1 billion. All this stuff that we look at, $87 billion in 1 year of fraud, waste, and abuse. And this is, again, we know this is happening. Over 10 years, that's $1 trillion. This is what gets me. When you know there's fraud, waste, and abuse and you don't want to clean it up, then you're protecting it. That's what the Democrats are doing. Doge went in there to audit and clean up all this stuff. You're hearing about these Medicare, Obamacare subsidies, improper payments and all this. But I'm showing you, you can go look it up for yourself, is that this is what we expose. We are trying to show you the truth, and you can go search for it yourself. If we don't clean up our systems, we will not be solvent. We will run our butts into debt, but who is the party that never wants accountability? Who is the party that doesn't want to do audits? The Democrats. Who is the party that doesn't want voter ID? The Democrats. Time and time again, it's always one-sided.
I'd add as well. But it highlights the fact that we've got a spending problem in this country.
Right there.
And the concern is if you extend these Obamacare subsidies, even with new restrictions imposed, that the spending continues and that the Democrats become, say it's a year or 2 years closer to their goal of making these permanent. Once they're out there even longer, they become more difficult to claw back.
If we're not able to allow a COVID-era program to expire and revert back to the original Obamacare, which the Democrats have championed from day one, to be able to balance our budget, to cut spending, will be virtually impossible. We need to cut spending. We need to grow the economy. We need to eliminate unnecessary regulations. And that's, in fact, what President Trump's been doing. Do you know what? Just 9 different executive orders that Joe Biden created when he was president cost more than $1 trillion to all Americans. $1 trillion. But Donald Trump's been reversing that, and he's been pushing for more private sector investment. It's only going to grow the economy, and it's going to bring affordability down.
And on healthcare, he has brought the cost of prescription drug prices down as well in many areas. That's helped the Americans that are dealing with issues and health issues across the board. We so appreciate your time, Chairman.
You hear that? 9 executive orders that this guy did that we know wasn't fully executed by him have cost the Americans over $1 trillion. Just 9 executive orders, everybody. This is the type of corruption that you know people are getting paid. I tell people, don't be naive. Don't think that you got trillions of dollars with no oversight coming from the Treasury or anybody and not think that people are getting paid. 100%. That's why Trump, to avoid all documents allegedly signed by Biden via the auto pen, and threatens him that perjury charge if Biden comes out and says that he actually did sign those and give orders to, because they know that they didn't. They've already interviewed everybody, and everybody said, nope, this guy was nowhere to be seen. And even 82% of the time that the auto pen was used, this dude was in D.C., in the White House, and yet they couldn't bring it up to him to actually sign it. Don't believe it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you love this, appreciate this truth. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, give it up for Caption America News. Our boy Chip Trapped logged in as his alter ego to get in another like on the channel. Come on, guys. Let's see those thumbs up. I love it. Show Caption American News, who is Chip Trapped, some love in the chat. If you're watching, not a part of the family yet, please consider hitting that thumbs up like button and subscribing to our family so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. And don't forget, open enrollment time, everybody. If you're on Medicare, the door is about to be closed for open enrollment. Do not let this time go by without being blessed. Call Chapter. It's a free service, guys, that they work with you to serve you. The number is 667-895-3015. They literally had a software that compares all 5,600 plans out there to make sure that you get the best one. And what I love is, again, we literally had somebody, such a blessing of a testimonial yesterday, who gave a super chat and said, hey, Joel, I call Chapter. They saved me $1,560 a year in her healthcare. Guys, that's a lot of money. Hey, if you're out there and you got a lot of money, may not be a lot of money to you, but I feel like for the majority of people, that's a lot of money. Don't miss the chance to be blessed. Like I said, in just a couple of days, the door's about to be closed. You can call them today, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Not only have they saved people thousands of dollars, they've even gotten people additional thousands of dollars in benefits. The number is 667-895-3015. I promise you won't regret it. Do want to give some love to those that have given today. Excuse me, guys. I'm sick over something. Got a cough. I don't know what it is, but thank you for your prayers and thank y'all for checking on me. But I want to give some love to those that have given today. On the 22nd of every single month, we give live to a local charity, and it's about to be Christmas. We're about to give our biggest donation out of the entire year. You're going to be blown out of your mind how big it is. But I want to give some love to the real KRO, our boy Richard PDX67 with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Digging it with Don. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby, for the super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Show them some love in the chat. True OG of the family. Also been a member for 14 plus months. Chip Trap, thank you so much, brother. Aha. Sean Green 2010 with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Lynn Defoe, OG of the channel. Lynn, we appreciate you so much. Show Lynn some love in the chat. Been a member also for over a year. Gina with the gifted 10 TrueLife News memberships. Show Gina some love in the chat. As well as Scott Sr. for 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships. Growing our family. I love it. Growing our giving. Camp Goer 1. Thank y'all so much for your support. Show Camp Goer 1 some love in the chat. Thank you for sharing our videos on X, on Facebook. We're here to serve you guys. We love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.